Gulshan, I've seen you from Hunter until now, You said you about exploration. What
Yeah.
is there more that you need to explore?
I don't know sometimes. It's a creative process, It's like a painter looking at a blank canvas. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to paint. As you start putting the strokes and you find something, some form in it, and then you put other strokes to sort of make something out of it, or you go over it, you paint over it, and you. So it's like that. It's an exploratory process, and I think I'm fascinated sometimes with people. And then these characters give me an idea to sort of an opportunity to also to try and be somebody else for a short time, and then there are no consequences, because even if you're playing a bad person like Atmaram, he's a murdering psychopath from Guns and Gulabs, but it is a fictitious character, so I don't have to suffer the consequences of being a real psychopathic killer. So it can be incredibly fun also. But for me, it's a creative process. It's really like an artist, although I don't think it's like a craftsman person making something with their hands. I have the same feeling that I'm making something with my hands and I'm using my imagination and using what other people, like he gave me something, I use that, and the surroundings, the way the light is hitting my face, or the furniture, or all of those things affect how I interpret something or how I articulate a certain dialogue or a scene.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. In one of my interviews, you told me that you were more inclined towards Hindi film.
Yeah.
You gave me
Right
an
from
example.
childhood, yes.
Yeah. You gave me an example about Rishabh Shetty.
Rishabh Shetty,
Shetty, saying that he became prominent more after Kantara.
Yeah, he's
How do you
a
look
pan
at
India
it?
star.
Yeah, he's a pan India star now.
Yeah.
But after doing Kantara. But now the tables have been turned,
How?
South is doing much better than the in Hindi films.
How come you say that?
Because
But that's a good thing also, but
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily, because they're all Indian films, so इसमें क्या है अभी? ठीक है, आप लोग भी कर लो धंधा, हम लोग भी कर लेंगे धंधा यार. क्या है? इसका मतलब the sky is big enough for all stars to shine brightly.
Yeah.
So I don't see any issue with that.
would you like to add something to this?
No,
Matthew?
I feel like it's an exciting phase right now. I'm very excited, ma'am, about the kind of collaborations that are happening between people of multiple industries, and the fact that films in all languages are being viewed by a very
Globally.
wide audience, a global audience indeed. Like, people have gotten used to the fact that we can watch a film even if we don't understand the language that's being spoken in the film. I think that opens up a lot of potential, especially for a country like India, where we are so diverse in our cultures and languages and all. And you live in Bombay. How many days do you spend in Bombay where you're only running into or interacting with people who speak in Hindi alone? You will be handling 2 or 3 different languages on a daily basis.
Exactly.
So why do our films have to be restricted by language or by culture or by any kind of like state boundaries? I feel like it's an exciting phase overall. Good that everybody's open themselves out to all kinds of cinema.
Matthew, you have scenes with Janvi?
Most of my scenes are actually with Janvi, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Would
I
you like to
actually.
elaborate?
So
Yeah, we don't have any proper scenes with
Yeah, we don't have any scenes
Which is
together
a
really
tragedy.
in the film.
I also don't have any scenes with Sai Pallavi. Because she's not in this movie.
It signifies
true.
patriotism.
Yeah, I mean that
How
plays.
do you look at what is patriotism to you?
What is patriotism to me would be, I guess, a sense of, in the simplest words, a sense of love for one's motherland, I guess.
Do you feel that we have
Patriotic.
to do you feel that we have to shout at the top of on the rooftops to
It can be fun.
showcase
Yeah,
our
sometimes we
patriotism?
have to. Sometimes we need to shout on top of the roof. Sometimes we need to bang drums and blow the trumpet. But we don't have to. That's not the only way to show patriotism. Like how that's not the only way to show love. Like a mother can show their love to their child in many different ways, and sometimes in silent ways where the child didn't even know that the mom did something to help the child out. So patriotism needn't be loud. So this is not like Suhana, the protagonist's patriotism is not chhati pitne wala
Yeah.
patriotism.
And I think with any kind of love also comes the responsibility of making sure that whatever is the object or person or thing that you love, there's also responsibility to make sure that it stays true to its principles.
I feel that in a complex country like India, the true nature of patriotism is in not tolerance, but it's an acceptance. Accepting the diverse nature of this country. It's a continent by itself. Like it's even a plate, like geographically. So I feel that, a lot of us don't really, including I struggle sometimes, like, some things I understand, I don't, but it's so diverse and even if you're 100 years old, you'll find something that you never knew about this country.
Okay, Matthew, how do you like working here, in Bollywood? Because this is your second outing, I think.
This is my third feature
and
film.
all OTT? Acha, this is a feature film, right?
Yeah, this is a feature film.
This will be your debut.
This will be my first theatrical release.
Yeah, that will be debut.
Oh.
Yeah, in Hindi.
This is your debut.
And I guess.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you very much. I hope it goes great. No, I find it very refreshing. I generally, as a person, I like jumping around. I don't like sticking to one place for very long. I want drastic changes all around me. So like in one swish of the hand, if I can change the place, people, everything, I love that. I thrive on that. So that happens to me when I come and do a film here. So I try to do one every year. That's sort of like the logic that I have in my head, but these plans don't really work out in the line of work that we are in. But as frequently as possible, if there's a project that I feel is an unmissable opportunity, then I jump at it in Hindi, in Tamil, any other language.
Okay, Gulshan has said a big no. He did a
To what?
Tamil film, South film.
Where? No,
Last
no.
time you told me that...
I grew up fantasizing about
Yeah.
being in Hindi films. I grew up in the South. I'm a southerner.
yeah,
वो
there you
वो बचपन का प्यार है, वो क्या करेंगे अभी, वो है, वो कोई नहीं छीन सकता उसका, उसमें वो there is no corruption in that. That is pure. Like it's my childhood love to be in Hindi films, and nothing can corrupt that. In some other ways, I have changed and I have become more pragmatic, but this, no.
But now given a chance, would you like to do any
I
Telugu?
get a lot of offers, but mostly from Telugu.
Telugu industry,
particularly
yeah.
after Atmaram, I don't know, for some reason, a slew of Telugu films. One was interesting, but then I had some scheduling issues, so I couldn't do that. So
And Kannada also you must be getting called, no?
Gujarati also I went. Seriously, Gujarati, Bengali film. I nearly did a Bengali film with
That's very cool.
Srijit Mukherjee, who I know from before because he used to work in Bangalore and we did theatre together and all that. So it's nice. It's diverse. There is diversity in offers.
Yeah.
Except that I'm not saying no to anything, but then I make my choices based on how much genuine interest I have. Just because it's an opportunity, I don't want to do it. I want to do it where I feel like I'm invested in this.
Yeah.
I just feel that I don't feel that way. So I tell them the truth, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm just really, I don't feel compelled to sort of be part of something.
No, that's very true. That's why I said unmissable opportunity in my answer also, because when you uproot yourself outside what you think is your home setting, it's very important to stay inspired every day also.
Exactly, yeah. Russian filmmaking is a Herculean task nowadays, because exorbitant amount is spent in production. Nonetheless, the actors down south, when the films don't do well, they reimburse it. How do you look at this
I don't
strategy?
think all actors really do that on
Only
principle.
one person doing it.
Yeah, Rajnikant's done it. Rajnikant's has done it. There are other actors I know who have done it also. Other actors who have refused, say, their last tranche of payment or, there's all of that. I think it's sort of it comes from a culture of believing that this film that you're making, you have to have some kind of ownership or some kind of love for it. It's actually eerily similar to what we mentioned earlier about patriotism, you have to have love for that thing that you're making, that you want to care for it and you want to make sure that it sustains. And if, okay, fine, unfortunately this particular film didn't do well, you don't want the people behind it or you don't want the industry itself to take such a large blow from it that it takes so much time to recover. So it's about understanding the larger perspective probably, but I don't think that's anything that's specific to actors in the South. I think everybody who works in cinema understands that for sure.
I have
that.
let go of some money.
Yeah.
I have let go of last tranche. It's okay. It's important to push this film. But I have just an observation, which is sort of a question to you also. In the Hindi film industry, the Hindi entertainment industry rather, is very corporatized. And then since to 2000, it's been like really a lot of people have come. They brought investment. They have brought certain structure and a way of working, and also the whole monetization model. Like what can you do with an IP and all that. I feel that in the South it's not that corporate.
Not as corporate.
Maybe it's also a thing because of that they look at films a little differently. In terms of it's still a personal connection that you have with somebody.
Bonding,
it's families or an individual who's running a particular studio or a producer जो अपना पैसा लगाया है.
Correct.
That sort of a thing also.
It's sort of like definitely it's sort of like a cottage industry setup is a term that I've also used in the past. Where like we all get calls personally from say the director. Sometimes it's a producer calling us. Sometimes it's like another actor calling us. There's no managers really to go through because everybody knows everyone. After like I've been working in Malayalam for 9 years now. This is my 10th year. By now, anyone who would like to have me in their film or would like to work with me in a project will definitely have a direct line of communication with me within this much time. So you always get that first call, which is personal, saying, hey, like we're doing something. So it's very informal. Are you available? Okay. You want to come listen, see if it's something that, okay, cool, come. And that's how it starts off. So
but even beyond that, the way they conduct business also, there's always a
definitely.
Which is why like perhaps like sometimes people are like, it's okay, we like let go of this money.
I mean, see, sometimes it's you deciding to, sometimes it's you deciding not to like call and pester them about making that final payment. So it's but it is definitely not a corporate setup. Definitely.
Coming back to my question, contrary to what I asked him, in Hindi film industry, I don't think anybody would.
I don't know.
Yeah, and also just
I
lately,
don't know.
Karan.
I don't want to assume. Maybe people do. I have done. So I'm sure people would have done, but then. Is it really necessary to like get it printed in the newspaper?
Exactly, of course not. But Karan just recently said, because there are actors who charge exorbitant amount and they don't even bring 3 crore to the table. What
But
do
they
you
were
have
giving.
to?
Producers were
What
giving
do
them.
what do you want to? You have any?
Ma'am, it's like that, it's a very unstable business. It's also a game of perceptions.
Yeah.
If somebody is willing to pay you and if that's important for you, people will take it, take that opportunity, right? So maybe some people are not comfortable doing that, but some people will be like, मिल रहा है तो ले लेते हैं ना, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? So people are also paying, na? Maybe Karan is not willing to pay, but so many other people are
He
willing to
spoke
pay.
in general, I think.
That's what.
And that's what is.
Like I follow Arsenal Football Club and Arsene Wenger used to complain about this for a long time. Like Manchester City, so much money, they have oil money, they're paying whatever exorbitant. Chelsea is paying oligarch money, they're buying players for exorbitant sums, world record fees. How can we afford it? तो यही चल रहा है अभी भी बट कोई तो देने के लिए रेडी है ना तो यही होगा इट्स वर्क टू वेज इट्स नॉट लाइक सडनली somebody would have tried कि हाथ मार के देखता है but that's also the thing when the corporates came na they also brought in a lot of cash flow and I think this is somewhere connected to that also and then we need to restructure, we need to change and every story needs to be made for the right budget.
Do you think it is pushed by some strategies
I
like
don't know, I'm just like
goes
going
behind
into
it,
I'm just like doing like moon landing हुआ था कि नहीं हुआ था conspiracy वो नेताजी जिंदा है वो वाला वो जोन में जा रहा हूँ अभी ठीक है just for entertainment purposes I have no idea it's ridiculous but then also this is the byproduct of like social media also because now this gets amplified na
but Roshan I think down south they hero worship their stars and they go to any extent now
Telugu, Tamil and then I guess Kannada, Malayalam also. I mean to a certain extent there are like fan fights and all that's been happening since I was in school. That's always been there. But it's also like I think actors transitioning from there into leaders of the people themselves and then getting into politics and all I guess it's a little more prominent in Telugu, Tamil and Kannada.
BJP, Suresh Gopi, BJP never won in Kerala. First time ever, movie star.
Suresh Gopi really worked in their favor for sure. But like this whole idea, the box office numbers being printed on posters and all only just about started. So I feel like it's all trickling down everywhere. It's getting into every industry and maybe with time, whatever are like not very sensible practices or unfavorable practices will be weeded out. Evolutionary process,
since you were talking about managers, we have to go these agencies and all. Those were our times when we also had just one call away,
direct line to the actors.
And how do you look at this trend, both of you, lastly?
Yeah.
I think there should be a good balance in having a personal relationship, and I think definitely actors should take keen interest in how the business works, which means like understanding contracts, understanding a lot of other things. I think it should be a good balance. बहुत ज़्यादा clinical corporatization भी नहीं होना चाहिए, and it should not be very personal also that I made one phone call and we have to decide now and then. I think it should be a good balance,
I think
and
it's
then.
never been one phone call away, but still we had that.
No, but sometimes there is these expectations with people. I mean, it's happened to me also with somebody, and then like it's just like we have to decide everything with this one phone call. It happens, and then you find your way around it. So I think a good balance is, because there are a lot of good things that we can learn from our corporate culture. It's very structured. Like there is no black money. All of those things, like everything. Suitcase नहीं मिलता है. सब bank transfer होता है. Your taxes are all sorted out. Your contracts insulate you also. As in there are some your rights you're protected. So you can look into all of those things. But at the same time, there's a very clinical approach to filmmaking because it's only numbers and data. But that doesn't happen with people who are filmmakers, who produce films because they love films. So I think somewhere we need to bring a bit of balance.
Balance, exactly.
I'm someone who has a manager for all languages except Malayalam. So I recognize the importance of it, and where it is needed, it really helps me out. I want to clear as much headspace as possible when I'm working, so like all of the other conversations can be, sent in that direction. And I just have to come in and do my job. That's superbly convenient. Great. And, if that works well, if it's a system that works well, fine. And, I feel like the environment here also demands it probably. In Malayalam, I don't find the need for it yet. But like many of these other trends are trickling down, maybe, with some time, maybe when like people find the need for it, they'll go for it. It's not like actors don't have managers in Malayalam. There are lots of people who do. Yeah, but the actors still get called directly. And then they put the managers onto it. So, yeah.
Anything else on concluding note?
What's the film?